Hey, what's going on, guys? So Stuffy here. We're gonna do a quick video, guys, on basically basic Linux commands, basic ones on Kali that we're gonna be using, and that you guys should practice if you're following my Intro to Hacking course. These will be things that you should. These are gonna be the commands that are so basic as far as just traversing Linux that you should have them pretty much not necessarily memorized. Everyone has to look things up now and then, but pretty much ingrained in how to use it. Now I know Kali, the image we're using, has a GUI interface, so it's pretty easy to do a lot of this stuff right here. But these are things you're going to need for when you do exploit a system, especially a system that doesn't have an interface or a GUI interface, excuse me. You're going to want to be able to traverse the directories. You're going to be able to you're going to want to be able to copy, remove, change things. You're going to want to be able to access stuff without relying on the GUI interface. So the more you can practice this, the better it's going to be down the road, and it's definitely going to help out in this course a lot, because you're going to notice that we try to use the GUI interface as little as possible. I still am going to try and show you some of the GUI interface stuff, but that's neither here nor there. That's later on down the road. So let's get started. So first thing you see already on there is CD. I'll show you guys that command. So CD changes directory, CD change directory, and you can see right now let's just do this. Let's go ls list. So this lists the directories. Okay. So social engineering lesson 2, excuse me, cherry tree. So that's the file I used to create the notes for the second lesson, intro to hacking, that we did. You guys can check that out on twitch.tv/stuffy24. But you can see here, these are the directories we have. Okay, these are files. The directories are listed in blue. So let's push to desktop so you guys can see. So CD change directory, and we'll just type desktop. Okay, boom. So now we're in the desktop directory. You can see right here, guys, this root Kali is the user, that's the path we are on, and now we've pushed to the desktop directory. So ls again will list, and this is a good example because you can actually physically see it. So this is what's on my desktop, these 6 files. It's showing 1 is a directory, hello.txt is there, hello world.txt is there, mount shared folders is there, numbers there, they're all there. So we can actually physically see that that's what it's doing. So another thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and we will just do, let's push to, actually this is a good example. We'll show you guys the cat command. So cat will show the contents of a file. Okay, so cat, boom, and we're gonna do hello.txt, and you'll see I use this as an example file. I did not there's nothing really in it. As you can see, the first line says hello, how are you doing, boom, and then it's all this stuff. You'll see why I put all this random stuff in there later. I didn't put it in there just for randomness. I just put it in there so that it had enough lines that I can show you a different command later. So you'll see that. So all right, so we'll go ahead and clear that out. Clear is another good one. It just clears out what's in your terminal there. Pretty super simple, pretty easy. So okay, so we've got the ls, so another good one here is pwd. Okay, so it's going to show you what directory you're actually in at this time. The reason that's so important is because, number one, when you exploit a machine or a host, whenever you get into a host, or even here if you get super deep into the directories, you might not know where you're at, like in their directories. So you can do pwd and see where you're actually located in the directory so that you don't have to get crazy trying to explore. You can also use this to map directories, things like that, to really understand when you're in a host where you're at, what their directory traversal is like, things like that. So it's a very good command to know, very super simple, pwd. And again, I'm going through these fast, guys, because I do this on stream so that on stream we can actually talk about it, we can stop, we have plenty of time. With these, I want you guys to be able to just go through the week. If you've missed something, whatever, you can go to these videos, check them out. They're 5-10 minutes long, and you can just practice yourself. So that's the number one thing, is you need to practice this. This is like using a Windows computer. You guys have been using them probably your whole life. So for you, it's like, oh yeah, if I want to open something, I go to start menu, open, right? This is different, so you have to practice it just like you have with Windows. So we'll go ahead. We've done the CD command. We did cat. So now let's do a copy, right? So how do you copy files? We'll do cp, and we'll just, the hello world.txt, I did that one to show you guys how to copy, because it's nothing. There's nothing in it. So hello world.txt, That's going to be your file that you're copying, and then we'll do hello copy.txt. Boom. So it copied it, but it's the exact same file. And if the way to check this is ls-l, this is, so ls, remember, is a list, and then l basically is your, in lack of better terms, it shows you more information. Okay, so boom, -l. So now we get to see what they can do. So you can see here, directory, read, write, execute. You can do all of it, okay, if you're me. So this shows you here hello world and hello world and hello copy. They have the exact same permissions. They were created same day. That just shows you the times. But you can see right there 0. That's the characters. There's everything's the exact same. They're exact replicates of each other. So that's not necessarily important. It's important that you know ls-l, because that's how you're going to see your privileges if you're getting an authentication error or anything like that. But that's just a fun little thing to show you guys that they are copies. Now the -l is important. That's, I used it to show you that. But in reality, if you do the copy command, you don't have to verify that it copied. That's what it's gonna do. So the other one we're gonna do is we'll go ahead and do basically move or rename. They're the same, similar things. So we'll move mv. Okay, so you'll move, and let's say we want to do hello. We'll do hello world again. We'll just move it .txt. Okay, and then what we're gonna do here is we're gonna just go space, and we're gonna go to where do you want to move it. So we are gonna move it in desktop. First root. If I can freaking type, root, desktop, and then we'll put it in number. Okay. Cannot start hello world.text. Cannot stat. All right, so we'll move it. We'll do the full directory. Root, desktop, hello world.text. Oh, I spelled it wrong. I'm an idiot. So that's actually a really good lesson, because with Kali, it's not like Windows. So we saw that it moved there. So a big part of Kali, or any Linux system in general, is spelling and capitalization. So for instance, one thing when I first started, and I sounds silly, but it was just one of those things that always got me, is desktop. Because if I show you here, you go cd ... That's another command. cd ... takes you back one. Okay. So now we're back in it. So ls list. So you see how these are all capitals, but root is lowercase? That always threw me off. I would always start with /root, and then I would just start typing, and I wouldn't think about it, and I would always forget to capitalize the next directory, and that always screwed me, just because then the command's not going to work. So capitalization and detail orientation is a huge thing. So let's go ahead and use CD again and go to desktop again. And now I'm going to show you how to push further. So we know that numbers there. This is important if you know the Linux out, or the way that it's laid out, right? The directories, and you know where like their base files are, where the password files are, where the shadow files are, things like that. You're going to know that directory if it's defaulted, okay? Unless someone moved it, which they would 99% likely they didn't touch it. But so we can just go right into number, okay? So we went CD, desktop, number, boom. So it took us right into it. So you can do that all the way down the line if you know where you're going. Now ls lists, and there's our file. There's the one that we moved into there, okay? So that's important. So that's a big thing, just because that shows you how to move the files, how to copy them. Now we can show you how to remove the files. So rm, and we'll just do hello world. If I could freaking type, I usually my keyboard's over to the side because I'm a gamer and I tilt my keyboard when I play, so I'm not used to typing like this. But okay, so we got hello world.text rm, so remove. So now ls, it's not there, so we actually removed that file. You can see I am logged in as root. Depending on what permissions you have with this file, you may not be able to remove it. It may ask you to do may say authentication deny, whatever. So at that point you'll do a sudo. So sudo is basically, and you can do some more research on it. I'm not going to tell you guys everything to do with sudo because you can do a lot of damage with sudo. But if it's your VM, you should log in as root anyway. And we discussed this in my first video. I recommend the first thing you do is create a different account so that you can actually log in not as root, because if you don't know what you're doing, you can delete some directories and stuff that you did not want to do. So sudo basically runs it as the root user, and then if you don't have permission, it may ask you for a password or something like that. So it will ask you to authenticate. So okay, that's a little bit more off topic, but here we go. So we're on number, we've got nothing. So let's do make mkdir make directory, okay, and we'll just make number 2. Okay, so now we go ls, and there's number 2 right there. That's a directory. So we could put a file in that. It's just like making a folder for on Windows. Okay, so now let's rmdir remove directory, and we'll do number 2 ls. It's not there. It's that simple, guys. So now another thing we can do is touch creates files. I don't know if I showed you guys earlier or not. I can't remember if how to create a file using cat, but touch can do the same thing. So basically you can make it so whatever you want. So let's say we want to make a file called hello, if I could type, hello.txt. Okay, now ls, there's our hello.txt file. And you can do that with more than text files too. You could do an HTML file, whatever. And then if you want to make, and I'll show you guys how to make an executable, or how to use it as an executable, because if you create scripts and things like that, you can make the script, and you can do that in LeafPad, whatever you want, right, in any text editor, and then from there you can actually make it an executable. So we'll show you guys that here in a sec. But okay, so the reason I made, and I'll show you guys, so we'll go cd ... so we need to get back on the desktop. And remember that hello.txt file that I showed you guys, and I had all that scribble in it? Here's why I did that, okay? So we're going to go head, I don't know why I put a space, head, which is a command that basically will give you the heading of a file, so head, and then we're going to do hello.txt. Okay, so what you see here is it gave us the first 10 lines. So why is this important? And you'll have to dig deeper into this to understand it, or you'll have to have a little bit more experience. But basically this is important because if you're gonna, let's say you're looking for a specific log, right? But you don't want to open the whole file and then thousands of freaking lines come out because you're like, that's not the one I'm looking for. I have to, so you can just do head and just look at the first 10 lines and be like, okay, that's not the log I'm looking for, try the next one, etc., etc. So another thing you can do is, let's say you know the logs are at the bottom, the ones you're looking for, you can do tail, and we'll do the same thing, hello.txt, and it's just going to show you the last 10 lines. Okay, so that's important, like I said, if you're going through and you don't really care to, you don't really care. But here we go. So here's another great command. So our hello.txt, let's do ls-l again. So our hello.txt has read and write, doesn't have it, it's not executable, okay? And it's got read privileges for everyone else, but not write privileges for everyone else, okay? So we're gonna do change mod, or chmod, and then you can make it whatever you want. So I'm gonna do 666. What it is that's changing. So 4 gives you read permission, 2 gives you write permission, and 1 gives you executable permission, okay? So 6 is read write permission. And then you see that there's 3 categories here. This one, and this one. So 666 hello.txt, cannot access hello.txt. If I could spell, would be cool. Okay, so now we'll do ls-l again. And you'll see here, hello.txt now, you see it right here, hello.txt had read write and then read and read. I changed it, so now it's got read and write. So anybody that logs in now can actually log in and write to that file. Okay, so that's important. That's how you change files. Now let's say hello.txt was a script, okay? And I'm not gonna actually do this because it's not a script, it won't run as one, but you do change mod plus X, okay, and then whatever your file is, and it'll actually allow that file to be executed. It'll allow it to be ran. So now here's one of the most important commands you're going to run into. It's called md5 sum, and then you're going to type that md5 sum, and then you're going to type in, let's do hello.txt. Okay, boom. So see this hash right here? That's a hash. That's md5 hash. So we could, let's say we wrote that down, or we copied it and saved it in another file, whatever. Okay, because let's say hello.txt is an important file and I don't want it messed with. So even if I took permissions away, whatever, I don't want it messed with. I could save this hash or remember it, however you want to do it. And then next time I log in, let's say it's 6 months from now, I log in and I need that hello.txt file again, I can do the same command, and that hash, if it's not exactly the same, if you change one character in this file, okay, so watch, hello.txt, if I change one character, take that D out, save it, exit, and do that same command, look at how different that hash is. That is 100% different hash. So that, if that hash does not line up perfectly, that file has been changed in some way. It has been edited in some way. So that's a huge thing. So keep that in mind, guys. Again, I'm trying to keep this video short, so I'll show you guys again. So another one, locate, and I just know this file exists on here. So rocku.txt will locate it. So that's the default wordless dictionary file that comes with Kali. It's probably the best default one. I wouldn't say it's the best by any means, but it's the best default one. So that I knew was there. I know where it's at now. It shows you the path. You can go get it that way. Okay. So that's all up to you guys. Another command I'll show you guys that's not really. This is a VM, so remember that, df-h. This is going to show you basically, it's like your Control-Alt-Delete task manager for Windows. It shows you how things are running, the usage, things like that. Again, this is a VM that I've allowed limited resources, so don't get crazy thinking I'm using a ton of stuff doing nothing, okay? So there's other commands that actually will show you just specifically what you're on, the usage of that and stuff like that. I'm not worried about that. Another one that you're going to need is zip and unzip. So zip, and I'm not going to, I don't actually have an unzip file or a zip file here, but basically it'll allow you to zip file together. If you have a zip file, it'll have you unzip file. So zip, and then you type the file, blah, 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 and it would zip it up, okay? Unzip, do the exact same thing. So if you don't have that, you can actually do apt-get, because some people won't have it on their machine. Kali comes, the new version of Kali comes with it, okay? Apt-get install, and then you'll do zip, unzip. Now, I'm not going to do that because I already have it, but anyway, then from there, the only other commands, there's a couple more I want to show you guys, and then we're done, okay? So ifconfig, you should already know this one anyway, but this is going to show you basically your IP address, your internet, things like that. I don't have internet on this machine right now on purpose, so there you guys go. There's that. Then let's see what else. Then one more I'll show you guys, or I'll show you two more, and then we're pretty much done. Maybe three. So let me show you another one. We'll do man ifconfig. Okay, so man is manual, so it shows you the manual for this. Okay, the reason this is important is it tells you everything about a command. So if you do not know a command, or you know the command but you don't know necessarily how to use it, or you'd like to know a bit more, actually read those manual pages. I'm telling you, it works. It's freaking awesome. Okay, so ifconfig shows you your internet, your interface configurations. Usually you'll have more than one, but because this is a VM and I have it set as none, that's why you don't have any. Okay, so then we're going to show you one more, and we're going to include a second one in it. So we'll do history. Okay, history shows you all the last commands you ran. So let's say someone got on your system for whatever reason, and you want to see what they did real fast. You can type history, or you get on another person's machine and you want to see the last thing they did, history. Okay, so here's another easy way to do this, right? So we'll do history. This is another command with it, and it's called grep. We'll do a pipe, and then we'll do grep, and let's say we'll do cd. So this is going to show It's going to show it basically sorts through whatever I just told it, and only showing me stuff with CD. So I just want to see, let's say, what directories they went to. I don't care what they did because I don't want to see all the listing and all the times they tried to look at what's in the directory and everything. I want to see how many times they changed directory and which directories they go to. Just type grep CD, and it's showing me every time they typed CD in the history, okay? So that limits our 221 results to probably, what, 50 results maybe? So that's it pretty much, guys. I'm sure I left some commands out that you guys may want to know about. Feel free to look at my Discord. I'll have it linked below, and my Twitch account will be linked below as well. And that'll be it for this episode of Linux Basic Commands. But basically, if you guys have any questions, ask in that Discord through the week, and I'll try and address them. If I can't get to them during the week, I will get to them during the stream if possible. Some stuff I have learned that people are asking a lot of questions that are basic Google search questions. So if it's a question like that, I ask that you guys try and find it yourself, not necessarily because I can't answer it, but because you need to learn these things. And if you have someone that you just go, hey, what's the answer? Hey, what's the answer? Hey, what's the answer? You don't learn as well as actually having to do the research and find it yourself. The big thing here is test these out, guys. Go on your machine, go on your VM, play around with it, create files, delete files you create. Don't delete any other files, just because if you got the base image of the Kali, you don't want to just start deleting files, and you want to be careful, okay? So just mess around with it, have fun, try and learn as much as you guys can on this, because this is just the basics of Linux, and it gets much more complicated from there, and the different things you can do with these commands are amazing. That's why people like Linux, because how much control you can actually have. So that's it, guys. Let me know what you guys think, and if you have any other suggestions for the video, hop in the Discord, throw them in there. There's a suggested video link, and let me know, guys. See you guys Thursday.